A pause for prayer.
I am the vine, and
A reading from John chapter 1, verses 26b and 27. Among you stands one whom you do not know, the one who is coming after me. I am not worthy to untie the thong of his sandal. Can you see Jesus? He is right there in the crowd, the one you do not know. John the Baptizer knows he's there somewhere. John has been on center stage, baptizing, preaching repentance, making straight the way of the Lord, performing his key assignment as messianic forerunner and prophet. But now the time is drawing nigh. John is getting ready to bow out. He has fulfilled his mission. He has cried out in the wilderness that the Messiah is coming to the neighborhood. No, wait, he's here. John must empty himself. A few days later, John says, he must increase, but I must decrease. And he exits stage left. What is true for John is true for us. If we are to receive the Messiah, we must empty ourselves. We must make room for him in the inn of our hearts. Now that Jesus is here with us, there must be more of him and less of us.
Dear friends, do you remember how this devotion started? It started with a remarkable word spoken by John the Baptist about his ministry as a forerunner of the Messiah. With deep humility and eloquence, John had said, I am not worthy to untie the thong of his sandal. Let me share with you a delightful story that came in a bulletin from Trinity Church in Houston. It starts out, an English clergyman and an Australian missionary were traveling through Tanzania a number of years ago when they came upon a local Tanzanian man who was working on the road. This man was slashing away the thick vegetation that lined the dusty road. Good morning, the Australian missionary greeted the African man. We really appreciate all the work you're doing. You are opening the way for us. Well, came the shy reply with a smile, not quite, sir. You see, the president is on his way. Then the writer comments, okay, whether it's a visit from Julius Nyerere or the inauguration of the president of the U.S., the degree of preparation for a big event is a true measure of its importance. And that got me to thinking about the devotion that John the Baptist had to his assignment as a prophet of God and as a forerunner of Christ. It's really hard to downplay the impact that his mission had on the people of Israel. The whole nation knew about where John hung out. They knew his fiery message and what it consisted of, and what his baptism of repentance stood for. We live at a time when there's a lot of emphasis on having focus and being effective in our life's work. And it seems to me that if we can look past John's strange clothes, his wild hair, and awful dietary choices, we could discover some good reasons for his effectiveness. One, John had a single call, which he obeyed completely. He was the one chosen to prepare the way of the Lord, and for the span of 30 years, he never deviated from that mission. Secondly, he preached one clear message. Nobody around the Jordan River had any doubt about what John announced and what he asked of his listeners. Someone once said, I pity any person who lives so that people have to ask, is he or she a Christian? Let's make sure that the good news that we are called to share doesn't stay shut up inside the four walls of our churches. And thirdly, John the Baptist promoted one person. Even though he was a remarkable prophet in his own right, John insisted that he was not the important one. And when the time had come for Jesus to live out his calling, he said, he must increase, but I must decrease. And so, friends, here's a concluding question that I want to leave with you. What is the one thing that you are meant to be focusing on? Taking our cue from John the Baptist, I think it's worth discovering, because everything else will fall into place.
I am the vine, and my Father is the keeper. Come to